What comes to mind when I do this? Does it make you feel that I'm very serious? Perhaps not.
Yeah.
People sometimes assume that this gives a serious note. But largely, if you look at the psychological aspect that it brings, it communicates a level of being reserved and closing yourself. You're standing before an audience, and then the first thing is you look down. That shyness, you have no confidence. Because people want to have confidence in people who are confident in what they're saying.
Yeah.
Normally, we say a smile makes you 20% more attractive than you are naturally. Or if we were a group of people here, again, another statistics on smile is a smile will make you more appealing 3 times than the rest of all these people.
So welcome to Career Quest Podcast. This is our second episode and my name is Duncan Robert. You are joining us with our very own
William Decker, I'm a communication specialist.
Yeah. And today we want to master the art of body language and nonverbal cues.
Yeah, thank you. Body language and nonverbal cues. Sometimes what I consider the most important aspect of language that more often than not we take note of. Body language can be categorized into multiple categories, let's say 12 of them. But for this episode, we'll focus on the priority ones. If I started listing all aspects of body language, you talk about facial expressions as one of them. We talk about gestures. We talk about posture. You talk about body orientation. Am I aligned towards you, towards this person? We'll get to learn at some point that if you are with people of a different gender, where should you sit so that your body language body orientation does not come off as offensive, domineering, etc. Other aspects, which is very much related to that, is proximity. How much do you encroach someone's space? Or how much space, if you give distance, it makes one feel like you're not really in sync. The haptics that we talked of in the earlier episode, things that are related with touch. There are contexts where touch is very sensitive. There are contexts where that element of touch really communicates some level of alignment. And you could go to a longer list, be it head movement, micro gestures that actually seen in your face before you actually put a gesture. That before I actually frown and my wrinkles actually appear.
You're making me to start touching my face just to confirm.
Yes. Breathing patterns within a conversation, eye movements. Did you know that if you're talking to someone, if I look up and I'm looking on the left, I'm making something up?
Just hold that thought there.
Yes.
You know, you are one person who has everything on your fingertips. And if I don't control you, you'll go with it. So let's just go back to, there are so many. How many are they? Body language? Yeah.
The list I've just referenced is about 12 of them.
Wow.
But for the sake of this podcast, as you say, we can focus on the first 5.
The first 5.
Yes.
And I've heard you mention facial expressions.
Yes.
So before you even proceed, is a good face, a beautiful face or a handsome face already one step into effective communication? How I look, because let's be honest, sometimes someone already judges you based on how you look, how your face looks. Is that a thing?
It is said that some people who naturally have a face that is saying "get the hell out of here," right? But good thing is there's always a cure for all these things. The biggest cure to this is the smile. Normally we say a smile makes you 20% more attractive than you are naturally. Or if we were a group of people here, again, another statistics on smile is a smile will make you more appealing 3 times than the rest of all these people. So it's an antidote to that natural phenomenon. So, we acknowledge that in a natural environment, our default posture is neutrality. You're calm, and probably this is your calm, neutral face. And in which some people's calm, neutral face is seen as an aggressive, tough face. Granted, it is. But one thing that solves all this is the smile. Smile has both scientific, physiological aspects. It also has a mental aspect to it. Scientific, which is linked to the mental. When you smile, those tendons and the muscles, right? It lies to the brain, even if you are smiling by forcing it. It lies to the brain that you are in a good mood. It, in a way, then triggers a lot of things around you that build up to the confidence you as a person, leave alone the people on the other side. When you smile, that's why you smile. We say just smile, even if things are tough. Then it gives you all the nice feel good hormones gradually.
But
of course,
the
not
smile
instantly.
thing, I don't know about other people, but how come I sometimes don't find it to be too natural? Yeah, like you even when someone tells you smile, you'll probably smile. For me, for example, I only smile for a few seconds, then I'm back to my natural state.
Yes.
So is the smile something you can work on, or it's just what it is?
Yeah, it is something you can work on progressively and gradually. And we say some of these things we are saying on this podcast, they're not an instant change. These are behaviors you can change even over 5 years.
So smile is a behavior.
It's a construct of behavior as well,
Okay.
right? But largely it's built by attitude. Because most of the time we are built to smile in appealing situations. Smile for the photo,
Okay.
smile for somebody you're attracted to, smile out of happiness for the cake, We are not built to just smile out of nowhere, things are bad. But now we are enforcing the need to smile before an interview panel. We are enforcing the need to smile before the microphone, before you commence you are speaking. It communicates to the other people that level of appeal that is being exuded from yourself. And so we say again, it's not that you've been not doing it rightly, but we are helping you now think that you can actually do it, right? That I can always smile, even if it's the fake one for the 15 seconds or the 10 seconds. Next time you'll do 20, and other time you'll do 30. And eventually you'll realize to smile when it matters for an entire duration of 1 minute when it matters, an entire duration of 2 minutes.
You can do it. So let me use myself, Deka, as a patient. Let me be your patient today. So when you look at me the first time, what goes through your mind?
Well, you look like you can kick somebody. Honesty, right?
It's 100%. And that's why I'm asking these questions. So what goes through your mind? Give me like 2-3 things that quickly just get into your mind and how you immediately restructure your approach to communicating with me.
Yes. So there are things that if I look at you now, I can see you leaning forward. So I can see there's a yearning to listen, and that you are, of course, sort of in a way attentive. I can see you nodding. I can see that you're in sync with me, right? And I can see you maintaining eye contact throughout. Sometimes it burns the soul. But then in a way, it gets me to see as somebody who is very authentic in what you're doing now. You're serious and you're focused around it. And so you've exuded a feeling of being focused and authentic. So it means even that other side of you that naturally comes out has a huge positive aspect that it brings. But this side of you cannot use it to sell for me water.
Something, It is not sellable.
You can sell for me statistics.
Something serious.
You can tell me how my finances are going down and you are coming to turn them around. So the basics is smiling. So it doesn't matter even if you're definitely coming to sell an audit consultancy. What matters is you have to create a human environment, a humanly friendly environment that is first of all down by the smile. Smile helps break down the defenses that human beings have. If you are coming to pitch to me, we are serious. We are coming to audit your technical and financial proposal. You break down my defenses a little and I say, they are human.
They're human beings.
Even if they are coming to pitch, they're also human. We can move to the other feeling that form part of what we call facial expressions. The complete opposite is the frowning, and we've just talked about it. Now, when I see your wrinkles at this point, I turn to a serious mode. It works with the brain, not with the hands. Yes, and you see, I've learned something. Yours go this way and this way. When you're happy, they extend. When you're serious,
they come to you.
Okay. So when I see a frowning face, it depends with the context. Sometimes it can be called as frowning, but it's that tense face. It puts me back into my serious mode again, and then I have to communicate again with a lot of authenticity. How your eyebrows are moving. When you raise them, I'm like, oh, he's actually concentrating on that point. When you are far removed, I can see it. We've talked about eye contact. Eye contact, sustaining it is good in business because everybody wants somebody they can rely on, somebody you can trust. Deviating from eye contact most of the time is seen as a sign of some level of how do you call it? I'm trying to find the most safe word. Somebody who ni mkora.
A con.
Yeah, a con person. Yeah. But remember, there's also a thin line between constantly maintaining that eye contact, expressing aggression outside confidence. Then there are moments also you have to weaken it a bit. Yeah, I can maintain eye contact with a smile. Yeah. Now, eye contact, which we've just talked about, goes with the eye movements. So when I'm talking to you, usually, not that it's always the case, usually when my eye moves to the top left, it can be seen that I'm lying. It gives an expression because you are trying to deviate.
That is for everyone.
Largely.
Okay.
You'll find that you are deviating because when I'm looking at you, you've said I'm communicating to the soul. But then because I know I'm now trying to con you out of something.
I will
Yes.
deviate.
Human beings fight or flight. You know that aspect.
Yeah.
That when I'm lying to you, I have to deviate a bit. It's the same way when somebody's talking to you. Usually it is seen that those who talk and then they deviate and the eye moves to the right at the top. That they're creating or it's imaginative. So you realize that creatives, whenever they're talking and then they look up and you are creating the idea, right? Then they come back again. Very acceptable. I'm talking to you. Then I look down or I was maintaining eye contact. So there's a level of shyness or where you're actually deviating from the confidence that is seen out of you. And that is what we try to tend not to have. Because the moment you lower the confidence, it doesn't matter how good what you wanted to present is. You're standing before an audience and then the first thing is you look down. That shyness, you have no confidence. Because people want to have confidence in people who are confident in what they're saying. Yeah. And that's pretty much how I would summarize facial expressions.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have examples of exercise that someone can do to improve or to make smiling part of their general communication?
In front of the mirror, another excellent tool that the human beings invented, the ability to be able to see yourself in front, and it's just you and you. Now, if you can't look at yourself in the mirror, it's gonna be a big problem.
You cannot even communicate to yourself.
So and you learn it from that because that's the critical person of you who is looking at you there. So look at the mirror, smile. You could use it for using some affirmative words before you leave for the office in the morning or before you leave for class or when you come back. Look at yourself in the mirror. Talk to yourself, how did I fare on today? Smile around the challenges. Frown upon the instances where you did not send, please find attached.
When I interact with people who constantly now smile, again, I start getting wary. Because someone who also wants to, let's say, for example, manipulate you. They will definitely put a smile even in situations or circumstances where a smile is not necessarily needed. Like you said, to break the barriers. So do you agree with that aspect, that outlook of things, that sometimes smiles are used to cover up for intentions?
Everything around us can be converted to a weapon, however much it has a good value. Water we are drinking. Quench the thirst. But if I want to drown you or waterboarding that is used in torture, it's a weapon, right? Even the glass itself, it's holding the water, but I can use it to hit you. So we are alive to the fact that some of these techniques also may be used by people with sinister motives. The good thing is motive and body gestures always go hand in hand. Usually, if you're smiling for a sinister motive, very quickly it dissipates and you cannot maintain it. But also, even the smile itself can be analyzed. There's a way your eyes shrink. There's a way the muscles. If you're giving us a fake smile with just the standard eye, we can literally see it's a fake. Sometimes the smile comes with an open eyes and we can see the happiness around it. So when you're building it progressively before the mirror, it's fine. When you're coming to practice it, it starts getting ingrained in the body, in the mind, and then it comes out naturally. Now, using it for a fake one is always a bit challenging, but we don't take exception that there have been cases where pathological liars who, that's why we use the word pathological liar, pathos, ethos, and logos, the mind, facts, and the emotions. They have
integrated every aspect of communication to lie.
Yes. So they can lie with happiness. I hope your smile is not
So you can see my eyes are becoming smaller. So it means I'm happy. I'm genuine.
Yeah, exactly. So there are places, but there are few people who have perfected that art, and that's why they are the pathological ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what about the opposite? Can someone use, for example, that strong stern face? Can it be used as a weapon? How can you weaponize that face?
It's always a weapon since we grew up. When the old men came into the house, or the parents, guardian, as soon as they enter the house and they frown, it communicates. People make jokes that there's a time you are with visitors in the house, and then your mom looks at you, and that look itself has communicated so much. It has punished you through that. The look itself has punished you. You felt judged, and you felt like you've already been beaten. So yes, and most of the times I think they are used more as weapons.
Okay. Yeah.
Naturally on the human instinct. Yeah.
Sorry for venturing so much into this aspect. My final question on the facial expression. In the modern world, I think people have embraced so much of
Glasses.
Like I've seen even people who are not medically diagnosed to use glasses, they start introducing glasses as part of their general outlook to communicate a certain aspect of something. So what is your take on that? Is what does glasses add to communication?
So that angles around first impressions, how you dress, and the aesthetics that come with what you've added, the additional things, the watch itself. It's not just the glasses. And I agree, people sometimes want to put the glasses for a nerdy look. You want to look a bit more serious on the technical aspects of things.
Does it work?
In some environments, maybe yes. But I think what we are speaking through this podcast should transcend all those things, because that's just one small accessory. What if you wear the glasses and everything else you're still wearing under the glasses is wrong? If I'm wearing the glasses and I keep looking down, it doesn't. Because there are those of us who sadly this is the only way we can see. Like I can't see your face now. I'm kidding.
punch me.
But there are those of us who this is the only way we use it to see. So it means we still have to do everything else. Glasses could be one of them. There are other additional accessories like the watch. I see a lot of Kenyans today and probably want to see your wrist, who want to show some level of patriotism. It's okay. You're having an African Union thing. I know you're well versed with the entire continent of Africa. Those are accessories. They add value and they communicate something. They're part of what contributes to those micro gestures that we speak about. And it's okay to always have them. If it helps enhances a point or it helps propel you forward again, who are we two gentlemen on this podcast to help change that?
Thank you. So what was the next
gestures? And we'll run through gestures because we've done a bit on the facial expressions. And in the previous podcast, which we invite colleagues to go and listen to, we spoke a bit of some of these gestures like hand movements, waving, hello, hi, even if, a handshake, giving somebody a thumbs up, you're just walking, you're crossing each other. I'm using it for labeling points, my first point, my second, my third, and I've always loved those who start with my first point.
Actually, I've seen it.
It's very intriguing, right?
I've seen some people do this. Some people do this.
Because humanly, using this finger is always not a very good one. It's for pointing. So when you start from here, you break that in those cultural contexts.
I know politicians are the ones who like using this.
Yes, because this has a level of sternness. We must, we shall, we are going to, it has a level of sternness. Yes, exactly.
Sometimes we see these details, but we just don't
but because this always has a level of approval, it makes it sort of a warm kind of
agreeable.
So my first point, my second point, my third point, and also naturally it goes with the levels of fingers. There are 5. And then there are also hand gestures, which also communicate a level of oomph, strength, toughness. There is using both of them, and there's using singularity. When you're talking and you use your right one, you use your left one, you balance them out. It's good, it's nice. We had talked about bringing your hands much more closer, solemn, authenticity, and a bit more focused. There's open ones where you are trying to expand sort of a level closer to euphoria. You'll find it used in much more open field discussions in a stadia with a rally, a political rally, etc. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
so you get into a room of people from different nationalities, and based on your interaction with the different people from across the globe, but what kind of hand gestures do you use that is neutral, that you will not stand a chance of offending someone? Because you see, these gestures, I've actually realized across different countries they might be meaning different things.
Yes,
just like
yeah.
you said. What is that one communication that you can't get wrong when it comes to hand gestures?
Wow, I hadn't thought through if there's always one, because again, you've said it rightly.
Yeah.
Other contexts, they mean
Yeah.
totally different things. Yeah. But I think if it's saying somebody hi from a distance, I think the hello part of waving is acceptable. If I'm closer to you and I'm not sure if I need to do the hand contact thing, whenever you're not sure, let the other person be the one who brings it first.
Okay.
So I come and I cross my hands together and I say hello. And I see them bringing the hand, then I take it out.
Okay,
Or if I bring them just closer enough that I'm ready to take it out. So you are hinting. But I've also realized people who are much more cultured and understand that there's a dynamics globally, they appreciate that in their context, things that may not be acceptable are acceptable elsewhere. I once had a colleague who handshaking was a form of harassment. And this is not because of a religious backing, but it's just a cultural one. That a gentleman trying to do the handshake is too much encroaching, So I think you just come closer, you nod your head, hello, and you smile again, tying to the previous one. I think it's universally acceptable.
What are the limits of hugging?
So you've moved to the haptics, and I don't know if you would want us to move to that, but we can speak.
It was meant for a different episode?
Yes, no, just within this episode,
Okay,
so because we were still on gestures, and I was still talking about gestures. What comes to mind when I do this? Does it make you feel that I'm very serious? Perhaps not. People sometimes assume that this gives a serious note. But largely, if you look at the psychological aspect that it brings, it communicates a level of being reserved and closing yourself. You ask somebody an uncomfortable situation, and you'll find that they are closing up. If I ask you, my brother Dan, what is that one big childhood trauma? And sometimes I'm traumatizing you again. You'll find that sometimes somebody will close themselves up. So some people naturally have the tendency of closing themselves, even if they don't mean that they are actually reserving a point or trying to be close to the people. But it's because how they've grown up. But then what it communicates to the other people might be different, and it might hurt you in places where you should not be doing it. For example, in an interview, your question is asked and you close yourself. It exudes that level of you're closing yourself, but you don't want to talk about it. If you're going through, it's called, is it to be deportized? There's a word, I'll find it here. Deposition, where they need to get, the lawyers are actually asking the tough questions. When you do that, because they do both the questioning and the psychological aspects of how you behave. So in a deposition, if you're closing yourself, we tend to think, they're hiding something. Same as in an interview. So it's probably a gesture people should not be exuding. Then there's the open arms. And after that, we can talk about posture. Or if you'd like us to talk about haptics and the hugging, which
just start us off with the one that you're okay with.
Let's talk of the haptics. So we talked in the previous episode, the handshake, a sign of greatment, a good thing. Always have a firm handshake. Firm communicates directly to the brain. This person is communicating, is strong, is if you're a man, is manly enough. And those things bring out a strong alphaness that is embraceable. Still within the handshake, once, twice, there are limits. Once, twice is fine. I think the third shaking is a bit too much.
Like our people from the Western...
Yes. In a social context, we can do it, man. We can keep it. That's okay.
What about that actually? What about this? When someone does this and then they're like... or is it an affirmation?
This is relationships, It's based on the relationships. And we agree handshakes. So also we exemplified in the context of what relationship I have with you. A closer relationship would mean that I do a much more better embrace. If I have a closer relationship with you, the day I do this, it communicates something. Exactly. So keep it like that. In a formal context, no matter the relationship, we always try as much as possible to keep it formal. One handshake, second one, some bit of like friendliness, and then you're done. If it's not somebody you're used to, hi Dan, how are you? Thank you.
Good.
Nice to meet you. You close. You know when you are as you're closing it, you shake it and leave it off. Yeah. You talked about hugging. Yeah. It's a show of affection, comfort, celebration. Anytime you're hugging, just it's subconsciously we think through it. I mean, subconsciously it happens without thinking through it. But now that you ask me, in a career context, if you're hugging a colleague, would a handshake have done better? If it's a colleague who probably you have much more closer relationship, it's probably somebody in a department you keep interacting, you're going for projects together, and you've not seen them after a month, they went on an assignment. Perfect, well and good. Or there's a situation where it deserves some level of comfort, a family loss, those kinds of things. Still fine, even in friendships. However, understand that hugging is such a close concept. You're on the breast of somebody. And sometimes there's a thin line between that and harassment. If the other person is not interested, never try to be the one who is bringing it.
Harassment.
Exactly. Even if they're interested, it can be misunderstood. That when I'm hugging and I hug a little lot, probably you are the tough hugger or the one who hugs for long. Even if you are just doing it in goodwill, they might understand, so he's open to something stronger than this, So it always gives room for misinterpretation. So you try as much as possible in a corporate environment not to go there. The other things which are not even related to what we are looking at, what of policy guidelines or harassment policies. The other aspect is a pat on the back. We do it nicely, right? Ta-ta-ta. It's always a good thing, gesture, brotherly, until a time in life, a colleague of ours told a friend of mine that I'm forgiving you this once. Next time you pat me on the back, I'll take it up with the HR. He said he'll take it up. So we were all surprised. Wow, actually a pat on the back is that bad? So the guy says he has a condition and you should never be patted on the back. You should have not done it. You should have asked me. And said, okay. Well, corporate environment, let's just keep things as simple as the handshake, the gestures. But on the brotherly aspect, it's fine, as long as you don't break someone's spinal cord. I want to talk about orientation and posture. All of them, I want to combine them together. When you are looking at somebody you're talking, usually when the body faces the person, we say in an environment, a social gathering, the body leans towards the affection. Or where the seat of respect is. So if they and that's why the CEO sits there at the table, and all of you sit on the side, and then you'll keep looking, you know. But then also how people sit, the order of seniority, right? And then those with the least power sit somewhere towards here. So you have a bigger leaning angle, and it means that's the seat of respect. Those with the closer level of power sit close, so they don't have to keep leaning towards them, they can listen to them without leaning. So it tells you about leaning, and in environments you can use it for both social and corporate. In a social context, you want to know who and who are sort of liking each other progressively. Somebody, whenever they want to laugh and nod, they look at the other person that they admire so much more, and then they'll nod there. Whenever they want to get affirmation, it's like you're getting an affirmation. So leaning and nodding towards that person. But then also leaning has also other aspects. Are you leaning forward? Are you leaning backwards?
Yeah, because I'm trying to think
now.
The way I'm seated, you cannot greet someone like this. Is already communicating something.
Yes.
That my focus is here. You are just by the way.
Yes.
How I will feel very bad if someone. I actually normally feel very bad when someone just greets me like that, because it's like, please get done with it. Get done with it. I still have a lot of things that I want to do here. So in short, you're saying effective communication when it comes to posture, the hand has to move straight,
and the body has to largely face straight. The exception is when dealing with a different gender. Most of the time, and it's not the usual universal case. This is bordering controversial, so I'll try to dilute the point as much as possible. You'll find that sometimes if you have a colleague who is senior and is of an opposite gender, you try as much as you'll find people trying not to lean towards them. If I'm shaking, I give you some bit of space so that you don't feel I'm encroaching. So I'll be on the side a little bit. And seniority also demands that in a way. Somebody is senior, I'll come leaning towards you, but I let the open space in front of you. It's upon you to decide if you want to lean towards me. But if I'm your peer, trust you, me, I'm going to lean in front of you. But if you are my senior, I'll come largely towards your right side or your left side so that I give you a chance to either decide
How come we've never thought of these things? Yet we do them. I'm actually thinking, I'm running these things in my mind.
Yeah.
And I realize that some of the senior people that I've worked with,
Yeah.
I just never go straight to them.
Yeah.
I always give an angle. There's a certain angle that I'm giving to them just to show
Respect.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
yes.
until you show me that I can actually come and stand in front of you, then I will.
Yeah.
But before that,
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yes, exactly. Other aspects is standing tall. If
Yeah.
only that we are seated, so we can't walk and show.
Yeah.
If I could walk with this bottle, this glass, walking with it, that's the desired posture. That your head is straight, even sitting straight. Usually, when you're taking up space and standing tall, it makes you look larger. It exudes confidence, as opposed to if I'm trying to be tiny. Social experiments have been done.
Yeah.
And you'd find that if somebody who tries to close up themselves, take up little space, they're seen as the weaker,
I'm trying to
smaller one.
adjust myself.
Yes. However, you there are limits to doing it. You cannot, and it has been found that men naturally take up space and widen up, and then that dominance sometimes is seen as oppressive to people who take up smaller spaces.
Yeah.
But you can use it for an advantage professionally, where you sit up straight in a conference room. That's why the chairs we are seated on, they are very straight upright. Yeah, even in the boardroom, right? So when you have the chairs in the boardroom, even though they have a backrest that swings, please don't swing back to them. Just sit straight, facing forward, as that works perfectly. So that's leaning back. Slouching, if you are slouching, disinterest, fatigue, and you don't want to propel those, what they communicate, people start seeing you're not a team player. Why are you disinterested when this thing was just happening? Yeah. And if you want us to bring this towards summary now, the other things you probably are wondering, what of the legs? What do you do with your legs? You see a TV interview and people are on a bench. Usually, these superior, complex personalities will always have their legs crossed to exude a level of confidence, and they're in a relaxed state. But there are moments where it also shows defensiveness. You're crossing yourself again. You're taking little space, you know? So there's a way, an environment, or a closed sort of attitude. There's where you're just using your feet pointed towards someone again, or you are joking with them, or you are constantly fidgeting with them, because you need a more relaxed state. Again, where your feet point towards, sometimes you can show interest or disinterest. And this lastly is mirroring, just to bring it now to a summary. Mirroring. And sometimes people misuse this. You know, sometimes you might have your glass of water and I'll have mine.
Cheers.
You just cheersed on a glass of water. Amazing. Excellent.
Water is life.
Yes. Mirroring sometimes gets people in the same line of thought as you. If I was doing this and then you do this as well, the way I feel we are in the same. But then you'll find those crooks who will overdo it. No, they want to literally do everything you do. Yeah. So it might look creepy if you over mirror, but usually mirroring the posture, if I'm leaning backwards, we all feel we are in the same environment. And so mirroring is also an excellent. It's used both in a corporate environment and in a social environment, whether it's an act of seduction, whether it's just interacting with people you're making friends with. Exactly.
Awesome. This really makes me look forward to subsequent episodes. And I hope we have done justice to helping guys to understand, to master the art of, what did you call it? We call it, what did you call it?
Bodybuilding. Body language and non-verbal cues.
So I hope we have achieved our goal. We have achieved our goal today of mastering the art of body... I keep saying bodybuilding. I don't know why.
It's body language
and non-verbal cues.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, William Decker. I look forward to the next episode. What do you have in store for us on the next episode? Have you thought about it?
There are 1,000 episodes that we've talked about. So we've done this. We hope next one we can take it a notch higher career-wise. So we speak about networking for career growth. When you're in an environment where you're networking, how do you hold your glass?
Wow.
How do you approach somebody how do you open up a conversation? You're in the lift with somebody you really admire and you want to share your proposal. You have 3 seconds or 7 seconds. What do you say within that short time? How do you give your business card? Which side is it facing? Subtle things that sometimes we don't look at as part of networking. What conversations can you say in a networking forum? And what conversations should you try and shy off?
Wow.
Yeah, that's our next
Like, I really
episode.
think that is quite a something. Guys, if you have ever struggled with networking and you really never know when you get into that room, what do you do next? You have your answers. William Decker here has a lot to tell us, and I'm looking forward to the next episode. But for now, we are just wrapping this up and to appreciate the good work that you have done. And so just remember to subscribe, guys. Remember to subscribe, remember to follow us and be part of this conversation. This is the army of smart people. And you can see, if this is the level, imagine where the next level actually will be. So thank you very much, and I look forward to the next episode.
Thank you. Next time, same place, different suit.
Thank you.